It's not an option to not change. Your industry is changing, your products are changing, yet in our bodies and our brains, we don't like change. Not at all. And the folks and the organizations and individuals that adapted the quickest, they're the ones that had the biggest success. But in my head, having been an athlete, I was like, well, if it's something like a muscle, it's a skill we can learn, then there's got to be a way we can train it. And I wanted that. I wanted an elegant, repeatable process, like, let me just have a go-to. So that is what I'm going to share with you today. I never planned to be here on a stage talking about change. This was never part of my plan. When I was little, I dreamed of being an Olympic gymnast. And I trained hard, and then I made the US team, but then I didn't make the Olympics. Plans changed. And I became an anchor. I win Charleston's favorite news anchor, and on a Friday, I get called into the GM's office, and I get let go due to nationwide budget cuts. Plans changed. And so I jumped into this startup technology company, and it was like jumping on a moving train. We went public. Forbes magazine gave us one of the top 10 tech IPOs of the year. I wrote my first book, and I started speaking. Each of you has your own story of change. Maybe you're in one of those moments right now, in the middle of a big change. We have to adapt in a positive way to the world around us. And I'll say we just have to adapt in a positive way to the thises.
She makes it really easy to have a framework for how you tackle something.
It was fantastic. She brought some really good information.
So I started looking at things and thinking, some people are really good at this. What is it that they're doing? First, I look at physics. Is it because everything's in motion? Is that what we should be studying to figure this out? But we're also rewiring our brain every day as we're learning. So wait, maybe it's psychology. Maybe old Marcus Aurelius had it right hundreds of years ago. I realized it is not one of those at all. It is all of those and then some. Always keep pushing forward because we get one story. One.
I told her when we were walking out that I feel like I could conquer the world. I could conquer the world. Like, I could do anything I want to do.
Not one career, not one title. We get one lifetime.
Nina and her whole team, they have been incredible. The way they approached the whole project, they were so very personable and really did the research, I have to say, to find out what this audience is about and really tailored her presentation to meet the needs of the actual audience.
And you're more in control of what goes into the story of your life. At this point, all of the wins and the losses and the crappy chapters, they're done. You're done with them. You've done them. All your pages ahead are blank. That's what we focus on. All your pages ahead are blank. And at this point, you have more control over what goes into those pages than anybody else.
It blew me away in every way.
I'm going to bring ideas back to my family, bring a change back to my workplace.
If you get the opportunity to see Nina in person, go see Nina.
This is not a dress rehearsal. We get one lifetime, and our life gets better by change, not by chance.
For Nina Sossamon-Pogue.
Thanks, Julio. Your industry is changing. Your products are changing. Maybe AI is changing everything, and it is increasing the speed of change. You have to get good at change as a leader. It's not an option to stay where you are. The reality is your life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change, or you wouldn't be here. You want to get better. It's very human to not be comfortable with change. But physical responses in our body jump in when we have to make a change. Our brains, they're wired to keep us alive. They just, hey, didn't die yesterday, let's do that again. Right? But you're here because you want to do better. You want to change. Yet in our bodies and our brains, we don't like change. Not at all. This is a beautiful example of resilience. It is not perfection. It's adaptation. And you have adapted and adjusted and bent your branches through life. And here we are, because life doesn't grow us in perfect conditions. Life grows us in storms. Not perfection, adaptation. But neuroplasticity is we're constantly learning things and rewiring our brains. It's like it's a computer and you're in charge of the software updates. Change has been the constant in my life. And I don't tell you all this so you will be impressed with my resume. I tell you all this because change is a constant in all of our lives and part of our stories. Each of you has your own story of change. You each have moments in your life where you thought, this was not part of the plan. And you're going to learn some things, and you're going to step out of this day, this morning together, with a handful of change. What are you going to do with it? Change comes in all sizes. It's I can't handle this. This is too much. The thises, I call them. The little thises. If you work with me here, if you rearrange the letters in that, in this, it's all that stuff. Yeah. How do we get better at that? How do we be more efficient so we can stay productive, so we can make our number or get to the goal that we have or make the impact that we're trying to do? How do we do that? We have to adapt in a positive way to the world around us. And I'll say we just have to adapt in a positive way to the thises, to the big ones, to the middle ones, and to the little ones. And the more we do it, the stronger we get. Every time we get stronger. Well, if it's something like a muscle, it's a skill we can learn, then there's got to be a way we can train it. I want an elegant, repeatable process, like let me just have a go-to. So that is what I'm going to share with you today. We're going to put it in a timeline. We're going to isolate what we're talking about. We're going to pull in the right people, and then we're going to craft that story. And we're going to start here with T. This is my favorite part. I love this. Another one bites the dust. Everything had been gymnastics to me up to that point. I couldn't imagine my life without gymnastics. So think about this and do some math with me. When I got injured, gymnastics was 75% of what I knew in life. So of course it felt like everything. Of course it felt like everything. If I play my timeline forward and have the years I was in television and corporate and all those years parenting kids, by the time I'm 50 and the kids leave for college, I have 3, by the time they'd all left for college, gymnastics was now 28% of my life. Very different feeling than it was. And if I lived to be 100, which I need to drink less wine and take better care of myself, but if I live to be 100, then it's only 15% of my life. And here's the magic of this timeline thinking. Look at all that blank space ahead. That's the magic of timeline thinking. There's nothing there. Anything could go there. It's like an open book. The story of your life today. Picture the book of your life if it was sitting on a table in front of you. You're on a page in your book right now. All the pages ahead are blank. And you will decide what goes into them more than anybody else. Not your spouse, not your kids, not your boss, not who's president, none of that. You will decide what goes into those pages more than anybody else. If you're spending all your time in the before, your brain is in the I should have, I could have, I shouldn't have married that guy, I shouldn't have taken that job, I shouldn't have done this thing. Like, if you're spending your time over here, that's where depression lives. And if you're spending all your time on the other side in the what ifs and the doomsday scenarios over here, that's where anxiety lives. We just have this moment right now where we can actually take advantage of what's in front of us and do what we need to do. And I think of it like this. Who's ever used their phone to take a picture? We've all done that, right? And then you're taking a picture, but it keeps focusing on the stop sign behind the person, or it's focusing on the tree in front of the person, and you can't get it to focus on the person. And what do? You tap the screen. Tap. And then it focuses. That's mindfulness. Mindfulness is not some Zen top of the mountain thing. It's in the moment going, wait, my brain's focusing on the past and the future. Like, tap in. What are you focusing on right then? That's mindfulness. It's as simple as that. I'm not supposed to talk about people, but I'm going to do it anyway. People. We were not put here to go it alone. You're all here networking and spending time. You already know this. Things happen. If we want to have big success, we need to have other people. Elite athletes have coaches, entrepreneurs, and other people have mentors. CEOs and executives get together like you are today and talk and spend time together to figure out how to move forward when things are difficult. Right now, everybody look at the screen. We're all going to see something at the same time. Even you in the back who are sort of paying attention. Everybody look at the screen. Same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Who saw a tree? And who saw two faces? Yeah. We all saw the same image at the same time, but we didn't exactly see the same thing. You're wired differently than the people around you. Who has children? Okay, this is going to be tough for you to hear. I hate to tell you, you are not the main character in their story. You're a character in everyone's story around you. Your children, your spouse, your partner at work, the people you work with. How would they describe you in their books? What words would they use? Are you the good guy? Are you the villain? I think of it this way. Who's ever been on a flight that gets a little, turbulence and a little bumpy? We've all been there, and you're going along, and then you kind of grab the armrests, and your heart rate goes up a little bit, and then the plane drops, and you have that panic feeling, and then you look around, and you see the flight attendant, and they give you a little, nod and we're okay. And what happens? You calm down a little bit. Your heart rate goes back. Nothing on the plane changed. Nothing on the plane changed. You co-regulated with another person. They gave you some of their courage. They gave you some of their confidence. That is what we do day in and day out to each other. This is what are we calling it? We do a lot of self-sabotage, and it affects us and the people around us. We overgeneralize. This always happens every time. Catastrophize. This is never going to work. This is ruined. Or we jump to conclusions. They didn't return my text. They don't like me. He hasn't responded to my email. He thinks it's a horrible idea. I'm probably going to get fired. Let me start packing up my desk. Some of you have done it. I know I have. Or we exaggerate. I have a million things on my to-do list. I have 50 loads of laundry. Who has ever done 50 loads of laundry in a weekend? I think I've done 6 is a crappy weekend, but 50? But we say that out loud and it feels heavy. All of these things are affecting our health, our happiness, and our success. They are keeping us from where we're trying to get going. None of them are helping. And we all do them. You cause a ripple. When you are in your head and it comes out of your mouth, you cause a ripple effect in your world and it echoes back to you. That's the framework. Timeline, isolate, people, story. Something happens and it's taking up all the space in your head, so you have to shrink it down onto your timeline. Where does it fit in your big, beautiful, messy, marvelous life? And then what are you actually dealing with? Not before or after. What am I dealing with right now? And then who's in this with me? Who's helping, who's hurting? Let's pull the right people in so we don't go it alone. And then let's be careful about how we talk about it. This is what are we dealing with? Over and over and over again. This is your new superpower. How you handle this affects your health, your happiness, your success. Forward, because life is going to keep throwing this at you and challenges of different sizes. Life, you've been adapting and growing and bending through storms. The world hasn't formed you through easy, it's formed you through storms. You're here and you continue to grow. You're not finished yet. To get good at handling change, get good at the thises. The little ones, don't let them take up too much of your time. Deal with them and move on. The medium ones, know that you're going to come back on the other side. And the big ones, that's when you definitely don't go it alone and you find a path forward, because we get one story. One. Not one career. Not one title. You get one lifetime. This is not a dress rehearsal. And you're more in control of what goes into the story of your life. At this point, all of the wins and the losses and the crappy chapters, they're done. You're done with them. You've done them. All your pages ahead are blank. And at this point, you have more control over what goes into those pages than anybody else. Your thoughts, your choices, and your actions. You have to keep adapting. Life gets better by change, not by chance, and keep growing. The you 5 years from now, the you 10 years from now, that future you is counting on you.
Give it up for Gina.